Some of you guys have requested in the past that I do a video about living a plant-based lifestyle while being an author working from home, and how I balance healthy living and eating healthy, nourishing my body, mind, and spirit with being busy, having demands, writing books, editing books, publishing books. It's all a very time-consuming process. How do I find time to eat healthy, and what exactly am I eating in a day? So I've delayed making this video because I just felt like every day is so different. But I have learned a lot over the years about eating healthy and plant-based and nourishing my body. So I felt like maybe it would be helpful to share a few of the things that I've learned, and to do that in the format of what I eat during a day. I've been a vegetarian since I was a young teenager, but when there is so much produce available during the summer, I tend to eat more on the vegan side. I do want to say that I think it's important to realize that every single person is different. This is not the golden rule of like everyone should eat this way, because everybody has different needs. This is just what works for me personally, and if some of these meal ideas are helpful to you, then that's great. But this isn't advice. This is just what I eat in a day. So I typically start every single day with filling a mason jar of water. I've been trying really hard to get better about staying hydrated. I found that the best way for me, the best hack I found, was to use a mason jar so I could see how much water I was drinking throughout the day. If I was halfway through the day and I'd only had a little bit of that jar, I'm like, oh wow, I need to hydrate. So just being able to see how much water I'd had so far really helped me to stay hydrated better. If it's available, I will cut an organic lemon slice and stick that in the water because it's really good for your body. It actually helps to hydrate your body to have that little bit of lemon in there. After that, I will have my coffee. I have a coconut milk MCT oil powder that I mix into my coffee, and it kind of just adds a little bit of healthy fats to energize my body first thing in the morning. It's also really good for mental clarity and focus. After my morning coffee, I'll then take my sublingual vitamin B12 supplement. For the rest of my morning supplements, I take an iron supplement after breakfast if I remember to do so. From there, I usually move on to my morning routine, which is not really routine at all because I'm not a very routine-oriented person. I like to call it a ritual, and it's based more off of what am I trying to derive from it, not so much am I doing these specific things like A, B, C, checking those off my list. It's more of what do I need this morning. So if that comes by way of spending time outside, playing my singing bowls and having meditation, or smudging, or having some spiritual reading time, I do really whatever feels good. I think that morning routines really need to be tailored to you and your soul. I feel like I say this about everything. But, you know, I think it's overrated to try to constantly just fit someone else's structure of what their morning should be like. Your morning's different. You gotta do you. You gotta figure out, what does my soul need? What nourishes me? So once I've nourished myself spiritually for whatever length of time feels good, I then typically start making my breakfast, and lately in the summer this has consisted mostly of fresh fruit, and that's what I'm about to go do right now. So these are the fruits I am starting out with this morning. This avocado will probably be more of a late morning snack. I'm going to definitely eat all these strawberries, this half of a container of blueberries that I have left over, and a banana. What I love about raw eating is that there's almost no preparation involved whatsoever. Not having to cook it, not having to do anything, just throwing some fruit together, and there's your meal all ready for you. starting off working on a little bit of editing for a new duology that I'm going to be releasing over this year and next year. I spent the last couple of days, not yesterday, but the day before and the day before that, having really amazing writing days. I wrote around 8,000 to 9,000 words, so now I'm taking a little break, shifting over to editing a different manuscript and then I'm gonna do some other more boring bits like email and all that good stuff. Where's the off button? I'm already super hungry again, so I'm gonna make myself one of my favorite meals, which is a kale smoothie. This is often my breakfast as well. But if it's not my breakfast, then it's usually my after yoga workout recovery snack. And I just like to use some nice green curly kale. Later, when I'm hungry after my smoothie, I'm gonna also wash a few of these radishes, have my avocado, and have some of these Mary's Gone crackers, which I really like because they're baked, not fried, and they're high in like flax seeds, chia seeds. I've been trying to incorporate more nuts and seeds into my diet, so even though those are not raw, they still work for what I'm trying to accomplish. Literally just gonna throw 100% of this kale in there. And I know for some of you guys who might not be used to green smoothies, it seems like a little bit of a lot, even for some people who like green smoothies, but I find that the more I can put in there, the more filling it is. And then I'm just gonna use some coconut milk. No real rhyme or reason to how much I use. It's kind of to taste. Sometimes I make these as like a latte, and I'll make it super thick with not as much milk and then add milk when I'm finished. I use Orgain protein powder. It's an organic protein powder. It's 100% plant-based. I'll usually use like half or a little bit more than half of the serving size for that. And then I'll use about a teaspoon of an organic spirulina powder, somewhere between half teaspoon to a teaspoon. I'm just gonna add a banana. Sometimes I'll use 2 bananas. I'll also use frozen if I have that on hand. And that's it. That's my typical smoothie. Sometimes I'll top this off with like coconut or something, coconut shreds. But typically I'll just have it just like that. So on this day I spent a few hours working until I got hungry again, and then headed into the kitchen to make myself a nourishing raw snack. I like to keep things very simple, so for this I peeled and sliced a ripe organic avocado, chopped a handful of radishes, and added some baked gluten-free, grain-free seed crackers. I topped the veggies with some salt and pepper and some organic Italian dressing. I normally do take breaks to eat, as I think it really does help us to eat more mindfully, but sometimes I do like to eat something light while I work if I have a really busy schedule that day. So now we are actually into day 2 because last night I ended up having dinner with my family and we had delicious little vegetarian pizzas from the village store. So it wasn't really something I made and it was more of a treat. It isn't something that I have on a regular basis and I did absolutely nothing to make it, so I didn't want to include that in the video. It's nothing that can help you guys, because if I'm like, oh yeah, then I ate pizza, it's like, okay, that's good. So I decided to just go ahead and record today instead of trying to do something last night that would more properly represent what I actually eat every day. Right now I'm drinking a mud water from the company Mud Water. I really like their beverage. It's a coffee alternative. It also has mushrooms in it and cacao. I try to replace at least 1 or 2 cups of coffee with this instead, which has been working out pretty good. I find that I drink less coffee when I have alternatives to change it up instead of just always drinking coffee. Even though, I'm not gonna lie, I drink a lot of coffee. I love coffee, it's my one weakness. This is really good too though. This is delicious. I'm gonna flip this around in a second because if you've watched the video where I planted my garden, you'll remember how tiny my plants were and they are huge now. And I'm gonna do a little weaving, trying to give my eyes a break from the computer today. So I'm gonna do as little computer work as possible. Did some editing and mostly like just email and blah, all that stuff yesterday. So today is more of a just be outside. It's absolutely beautiful out. There's not a cloud in the sky, which is amazing and incredibly rare for here. The past week, we had like no sunny days. The sun like peeked out for like a couple minutes on a couple days. Other than that, it was complete cloud cover and rain off and on all day long, all night long, all week long. Welcome to Vermont. It's not known for the sunshine, I can tell you that right now. Look at the size of this. Do you remember how small that was when I planted it? It is just huge now. The garden box is doing really well. Everything's getting super big and the tomatoes have a couple little baby tomatoes on them. Look at them. Look at the little baby tomatoes. They're so cute. So a really sweet little blue and purple dragonfly landed on me this morning and it kept landing on me over and over again. And it inspired me to weave something of the same exact colors because the colors reminded me of a few new organic threads I bought. So since it ended up taking 2 days to record this video, I thought I would share another lunchtime favorite of mine, and I like to call this one the ultimate avocado toast, and you'll see why I call it that in a second. I start with a slice of organic sprouted multigrain bread. I love Ezekiel bread because it's so delicious and filling, and I lightly toast it. Then I'm going to peel an avocado and mash it with a dash of smoked paprika and a drizzle of a cilantro lime ranch dressing. You can sub this for any ranch dressing you have on hand though. I'm going to spread a generous amount onto the toast. Add a side of mixed greens, and then top it with a mixture of organic raw nuts, seeds, and dehydrated berries. You can get creative with this part though. I then added a helping of vegetable hummus, some seed crackers, 2 dried mission figs, and a sprinkle of lemon juice, and more dressing over everything. What I love about this meal is how protein rich and filling it is. It's a very nourishing and energizing dish that works wonderfully as a lunch or dinner. I enjoyed all of this with a glass of sun tea, which I made earlier that day in a mason jar using just 3 tea bags and some sunshine to slowly warm the water and express the tea. For dinner that night, I decided to make a 1-pan kale and hemp dish to save time doing dishes, something I don't think anyone is a huge fan of. Dinner is usually where I consume most of my cooked vegetables for the day, although I typically only lightly cook my veggies.
And I also have a large salad with it as well. So for this, I heated a pan on medium heat with a little coconut oil, chopped and rinsed some kale and sweet organic peppers. I added a frozen organic mixture of rice, beans, and corn to the pan, as well as the hemp and greens veggie burger, which is one of my favorite veggie burgers, by the way. I'll link that below. When everything was basically done, I added the chopped kale and the peppers and just stirred them around until they softened just a little bit. After a couple minutes, I added it all to a plate and topped it with salsa and a little splash of that cilantro lime ranch dressing. And of all I should have done. This paired really nicely with a kombucha, which is a beverage I greatly enjoyed the benefits and delicious taste of. After my evening meal is typically when I take the majority of my supplements. Ashwagandha, which helps in reducing stress and building vitality. Holy basil leaf, which has so many immune system supporting benefits and helps to reduce anxiety. Olive leaf, which is a great supplement that contains antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. A B complex supplement for days when I may forget to take my morning spritz of sublingual B12. Vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. There comes a time when all you have is who you love. And Cornelia, you'll be all I'm thinking of.
So I made that same exact smoothie I made earlier, except I added a little teaspoon of organic matcha powder, and this is so good. So this is the wrap up. That's what I eat in a day as a creative writer who stays at home. That's how I prep my meals. That's how I try to organize them, and the nutrition I try to make sure I'm having each day to fuel myself creatively and keep myself healthy. So take all of this with a grain of salt. Everyone's diet is different. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of what I incorporate into my own diet. I would love to hear about yours down in the comments below. Have you ever gone plant-based? What do you think of the whole idea? Would you ever try it? Or are you doing something different like keto or paleo or something totally else? Let me know in the comments below what you're up to. I'd love to hear about it. If you like this video, it always means a lot when you click like and subscribe and ring the bell if you don't want to miss any videos. I upload quite frequently podcast episodes for mine and my sister's creative writing podcast, which is awesome, by the way, if I do say so myself. Please check it out if you have a minute. And I upload videos about holistic living, Vermont living, and minimalism. So if you liked this video, you might like some of my other ones. I did another one about vegan meal prepping in a minimalist way, minimalist methods for meal prep. That'll be up here somewhere. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for taking the time to be here with me. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it helped encourage you to stay healthy and stay creative. And I wish you so much joy in your journey. I'll see you next time.
Cornelia, you are one who will survive. Time's been bad, you put smiles